What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark, and welcome to a very special bonus episode of BLERDKAST. Today, I'm joined by a pantheon of nerds and geeks, and we got a lot to talk about today. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Moon Knight both ended and came out in the same week, so we got to talk about it. This is going to be a very spoiler-heavy podcast, so if you have not seen either, please go watch both and a bunch of other stuff, and then come back and come to this podcast. But I would like to go ahead and introduce my pantheon of talent today. Why don't you go ahead and start first, Marco?
All right, thank you, Mark. So my name is Marco Mazzola. I run the Entertainment Rants podcast. We started back last August. We met some amazing people, yourself included. Jason, hello. We've been on some really great podcasts, and just looking forward to. We basically do the same thing, similar with a lot of geek culture, movies from the 80s, 90s today, TV show, things like that. We're just trying to sort of find our way in our niche and see who we're going to be in the future, so just having a great time. I'm glad to be here.
All right, cool. All right, go ahead, Marcel.
Okay, my name is Marcel S. Williams. I'm a videographer here in Atlanta, and I own a video production company. And when I have time, I run the YouTube channel, The Content Bebop.
Okay, cool. What's your channel about?
I don't even know yet. That's how fresh it is, man. Like, we started talking about filmmaking stuff and like how to run a video production company and film school, stuff like that. But it's so fresh, I really don't even know what direction it's going to go in yet.
All right, cool. All right, go ahead, Jason.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jason Craig, aka the Friendly Neighborhood Dreadhead, the host of the Bring the Popcorn podcast. There we go, do anything from movie reviews to bad movie reviews, and also do an interview series. So check us out sometime.
All right, cool. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. Usually I ask what you guys have been watching and geeking out to, but we're here for the purpose to review these two particular things. So I already know what everyone's been watching and binging lately. So let's just go ahead and jump into it and talk about Moon Knight. I want to give a spoiler-free version of it because some of us on here haven't seen it yet. But I know Marco and Jason, you both have seen Moon Knight. What are some of your thoughts about it?
I'll let Marco go first.
All right, thank you, sir. I thought, for me, one of the best Marvel shows to date. It's trying to keep it spoiler-free. The level of detail they used within, coming through the mental illnesses and obviously the dissociative identity personality stuff was amazing. If Oscar Isaac doesn't win at least 2 or 3 Emmys for all the characters he portrayed, it's a crime. And I think he did an incredible job. Did not see that coming. Not going to talk about the ending and stuff like that, but I thought it was ended really well as a series. To me, it's one of the strongest ones they've done. That to me, it's up there with, WandaVision was my other really favorite one. The other one's kind of in between, Loki next, and then the other 2 below that. So it looks like, we might get a season 2. They said it'd be a shame. The director was saying it would be a shame if we don't get a season 2 on it. So obviously they left it very wide open at the ending to do that. That's it. The 2 things that I wanted more from it was more Moon Knight. I'm greedy. It was one of those, it was almost a Boba Fett there. We wanted some more actual Moon Knight in the Moon Knight show. Would have been nice, although obviously we got a lot in the last episode. And the other thing that I didn't really catch was any kind of tie-in to the rest of the Marvel universe. So there's no real, how do we now bring him on? We know he's going to continue on. We know he's going to be in other stuff. How do we do that? And they sort of left us hanging on that one. Other than that, I'm looking forward to rewatching it again. It is definitely a series I'll watch twice.
Okay, cool. What about you, Jason? What's your first initial spoiler-free thoughts of the show?
So my initial spoiler-free thoughts is, I feel like this right here, people don't take this the wrong way, but this is the proper representation for DID in a movie, because in other movies it's either used as a crutch or is used as a superpower, aka split. So it was nice to see them actually do their research on the mental illness and the way that they tackled it. And hey, Marvel, it's a first for everything, and this was a first that you actually see somewhat a semblance of child abuse in this show.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And Oscar Isaac, he does a really great job acting against himself. The show is confusing at points, but to be honest, even though this is a Moon Knight show, I was enjoying the show when Moon Knight wasn't on screen.
It had a lot of story to tell, and it actually told it mostly in a really interesting and very nicely edited way. Marcel, I know you said you only saw the first episode, but what were your kind of first initial thoughts of that first episode? And you can go ahead and go on the spoilers of that, and then after that, you can do
the spoilers of the first episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I liked it. I thought it was so different, man. And I really like the actor. Dang, I can't think of his name. Marco, I think so. You all just said his name.
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, man, he was so great. I liked him in Star Wars. Like, such a shame. It's such a good like redemption for him to like we can actually see him again and see something that he can do, because Star Wars like just kind of anyway. But I mean, it was great. I'm so interested in finishing it. I just haven't gotten around to it, I guess. And now that it's all done, I think because lately I just haven't been like itching, like, oh, I gotta see the day it drops. Then I'm like kind of relaxing. I let it all happen. Now I can sit down and watch all the 5 other episodes. Or how many episodes total is it? I'm sorry.
It's 6.
It's 6. Okay, so I saw the first. I'm gonna watch all 5 of them one day and just sit down and finish it by this weekend. But no, it was good. It was good. Marco, you touched on it. I was gonna ask does it bring anything new to the MCU, like as the whole, like as a story, or is it all just self-contained? And that's what kind of, I mean,
it brings crazy.
It brings crazy in a big bucket of
crazy.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's cool.
But I think it brings a lot. Like, I don't know what to say without kind of ruining the rest of the episodes for you. But it's definitely worth watching. It's up there, like Marco said, it's up there with WandaVision with me, because WandaVision is like my favorite and so far the best Disney Plus series that they came out with. Opinions can whatever, but in my opinion, is WandaVision and Moon Knight are up there neck and neck tied for the best Disney Plus series right now.
I gotta give props to Mandalorian. That's up there too.
I mean, well, yeah. I was
strictly Marvel. If you're taking just Marvel,
I was
Disney Plus, yes,
strictly Marvel. But Mandalorian is definitely up there. It's a 3-way tie then. So it's just and speaking of Mandalorian, like, because Disney did such a big flop with the theatrical releases of the current trilogy, Mandalorian kind of saved that franchise in my opinion.
It saved their ass in a big bad way. Yeah, absolutely.
Boba
Fett didn't really help them very much, except for the couple of episodes with Mandalorian in it.
Right.
But
right, obviously.
Mando season 2.5.
Yeah, I haven't even seen Book of Boba Fett because I heard it doesn't get good until episode 5. I'm like, I don't really have that much time to invest right now.
BS callback from episode 1. Ooh, that show and all that sand.
I know we're not on that show tonight, but man, there was so many missed opportunities with that series. Yeah, you have this amazing character that's been around since before Empire, obviously, since the holiday special, and there's so many different stories you could have told with him, and it was just a story that we didn't need. And then, like I said, plus other characters we wanted to see, which they put in, but then did nothing with. So it didn't really offer much, having a little bit more Mandalorian. So it's sad when another character from another show has to save your show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going back to Marvel, some of like Hulk's biggest costly books are the ones that he really wasn't the star in, right? When they introduced Wolverine,
right?
Yeah.
That's one of the most pricey Hulk books because they introduced Wolverine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's sad when the main character doesn't really do much for the series or the book.
Yeah, that's true. But let's just get into some spoilers of Moon Knight. Marcel, go ahead and just kind of do this. But let's go ahead.
We're losing Marcel's feet.
But let's just get into some spoilers. So obviously, I really like the series. It definitely, episode 1, it brought me in. It definitely suffers from some of the same tropes that the other Disney Plus MCU shows have, where they bring you in, like they suck you into this universe, and they kind of don't stick the landing, but at least they kind of came closer to the target this time around.
Mm-hmm.
With all the issues they had with WandaVision and everything that went on with the rest of the Disney Plus series, I feel like this one was the closest to, okay, they had an idea, and they kept us interested. Marco, you brought up that hold on, what was the thing you said? That is kind of contained, that they don't really mention a lot of the MCU, and I actually kind of appreciate that. Like, they don't mention the blip at all. Everything else that they've did since Endgame, they've talked about the blip and the 5-year gap and things like that. Even in Doctor Strange, they brought it up. But in this one, they was like, no, like none of that. And then, yeah, there were a ton of Easter eggs that you kind of got to be super nerdy and pick through and understand that they actually did tie in a lot of the MCU, just weren't really paying attention.
Well, sure, but what is it going forward? That's more what I meant.
Okay.
Like, like in all the other series, we see, Valentina, or we see something that's going to say, okay, this is what's going to come up next, and how they're going to get together as for whether it's the Dark Avengers or whatever they're doing. Didn't really see much at the end. Like, there was no. I loved the after credit scene in the finale.
True.
Right.
Yeah,
we get Jake, we get Lockley. So like that was awesome. But I was almost expecting another one at the end of the credits, saying, okay, now we need to tie it in.
Yeah. I agree. But what are your thoughts on this, Jason, before I go ahead and kind of rebuttal to what Marco said?
So here's the thing. The reason why this doesn't tie into the MCU like that, like up front, is because they didn't know if this was going to be a limited series. So they were only going to do this one season because they said, oh, y'all got Moon Knight, so be happy. But Oscar Isaac and the director said, hey, we wouldn't mind doing this again, depending on what they do from here, because they've already introduced the Scarlet Scarab, which shocked me, because I was like, oh, I know they're going to bring her in here as well. They name drop Bush. I forgot his name. Start with the B. I think it's Bushman or something like that. But they name drop him, and if you even by the post credit scene, they kind of wrapped up the whole thing in the post credit scene, because they honestly didn't know what they were going to do.
But that post credit scene leaves us for a season 2. Right. Yeah. Okay, now you got Jake Lockley's in there, so now it's gonna, Khonshu basically has the avatar he really wants.
True.
Right. He's got the ass-kicking avatar that he really wants, who has no compunction about killing people when he tells them, go kill that person. Right. That's what he wants, because Mark was just wishy-washy about it. Mark was an assassin, but he dealt things very cleanly and fairly. And obviously, Steven didn't want to beat anybody up, and Jake is just like, I'll kill everything. We saw him throughout the entire series. We just didn't know we were seeing him. Right. We every time he end up being bloodied, or with the two of them, like, I don't know who killed him, who did that. Right. We knew it was Jake. And even in the hospital, when he had the bandage on his nose and he was freaking out, like, that was Jake. Right. That wasn't Mark. It wasn't Steven. He played it very differently. So we saw him. We got to get to his new story, right? We got to continue on. Right. Khonshu's in that nice suit. He's like, all right, let's rock. Let's go kill some people.
Yeah, that was nice. That was definitely
the Mr. Knight suit was awesome.
Only thing actually, there's a few problems. One of my few problems with the show is, one, since I somewhat know the comics, I know Jake. I know about Jake Lockley, but I want to see in the show, like how they gave us how Mark made up Steven. I want to know how the fuck he come up with Jake. That's what I wanted to see.
Right, me too.
Season 2. That's season 2, right? Hopefully that's season 2. You couldn't cram another origin, right? I think there was a lot, and it took till near the end to find out how Steven came about. But so now we get a nice, perfect meat on the bone for season 2, right? We get a lot of Jake and how he came about. Because you're right. In my eyes, I always figured, like, it was the hardest part I had was he creates Steven almost to escape into, because of what his mother was doing to him, right? So when we see him, he turns into Steven, right? He zips and he's a Steven. And that's when the mother comes in to beat the shit out of him. But yet Steven is the one who has great memories of his mother, who loved her and she loved him. But it's like the Steven personality doesn't remember he's the one who got the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Somebody's kind of just explain that to me. That right? That might be the next step, right? It's almost multiplicity,
right?
Right. The clone of the clone made the clone, right? And the last one's not quite as sharp as the original, right? Jake is sitting there going, Jake's sitting there, I want pizza.
Now,
she touched my peppy, Steve.
Another problem I had with the post-credit scene, Khonshu's CGI already looked bad, but when they put that motherfucker in a suit, I'm like, that looks stupid as hell.
I loved it, but you're absolutely right.
Like,
his CGI was a little off. His proportions were weird, and his hands were weird.
It was like he was clipping into the suit, and then like I was joking on my podcast. It's basically like Jake was his pimp. I mean, Jake was his hoe, and Khonshu was the pimp. And I'm like, this.
But you can't be in an Austin Martin all sitting in your rags. You got to be representing in a nice suit in that car.
Why does he have to? I was just thinking, why in the hell did Khonshu put on a suit?
Well, who knows? Where is Steven and where is Steven and Mark at this point? Right. So now he's personified because that's the Mr. Knight suit comes from him.
Right.
Yeah. So he's rocking it. Right. Instead of wearing the wraps, he's wearing the suit. Steven's not around to wear it right now.
Oh, and also one more thing before somebody goes on. Shout out to them updating that costume a little bit, because in the comics, his costume it looked plain. Somebody pointed out to me, yeah, it looked like he wearing KKK robes. I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Definitely, especially the original version. Yeah. What did you think of the one that has more black in it? That the bodysuit and his face is a lot more black than just white. So it's a lot more contrast. I was kind of hoping to see a little bit of that. I like the look of that suit, but then like when he was in scenes where it's not night, I'm like, that made no sense. That made no sense. Yeah, it's kind of like when you see in The Dark Knight Rises when Batman's like in broad daylight on the steps of City Hall. It's kind of snowing or whatever. It's like kind of weird to see the man in a Batman suit in broad daylight. Yeah, you can really tell it's just a rubber suit. It doesn't really look that good.
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I have a few points. Like in the finale, I see what they're trying to do. Obviously, Phase 4 and Phase 5 is going to be about bringing in the gods into the MCU. More of Thor, more of the one above all, he who remains, that type of mythos from the deep pockets of the comics and things like that. So that's how I feel like Moon Knight kind of ties into Phase 4, because they obviously brought in the Egyptian gods, and they have like a sub pocket within the Marvel universe themselves. But the CGI in the last episode when Khonshu and the feminine alligator god fighting and punching each other, like wire gods punching and fighting each other with fisticuffs, that doesn't make sense to me. But that CGI of them fighting in the pyramids in the background while Moon Knight and the other Egyptian superhero, like we'll get into that. It was a little kind of like, okay, I'm completely kind of took off by this. Like, this is like not bad. You put all this budget and all this hype into this final fight, and it doesn't look so cleanly. Now, everything in the foreground looked really good, but the background was super distracting to me with the two gods fighting in amongst the pyramids.
I couldn't agree with you more. I honestly couldn't agree with you more. The ending was rushed. We had 5 amazing episodes. This series could have benefited with eight episodes, right? And it could be 42, 45, 50 minutes, whatever. They don't have to be an hour. Or freaking that rat has plenty of money, can make them an hour, but that's fine. Editing is good, but it needed more to come to that climax, right? He's dead. He's in the field of reeds. Bang, he's back. We're on the pyramid. We're fighting. Day is done. Right. It's, Scarlet Scarab, awesome, but way too rushed as a final scene. And you're right, the final battle was somewhat anticlimactic. It didn't go on long enough, and to me, it harkened back to Boba Fett. That final scene, if you remember from the end of Boba Fett, it was also this big war they're having, and it was a mild skirmish across a couple of streets. You know what I mean? Like, what? With a couple, Scorpion droids, like that was it for this massive war they kept toting for the entire series. So same thing. It was this big battle that we didn't really see. We see them in the on the boat, and they're sending down the souls. We didn't see any of that when they came back to reality. None of that was happening. So there was no sort of outcome on that. There was nothing really that turned us back to that. It was just an ending to end it. It definitely seemed forced and rushed.
Well, the thing about all these MCU shows, even the ones that I like, that's been every single show's problem, is that it's been rushed. Like WandaVision had the most episodes out of all of them, I think, and they still rushed the end. Well, probably also due to COVID, but you would think the show with the more episodes could wrap it up, but even they couldn't wrap it up. So I think that's just the television series team. Like, that's their only flaw, is that their pacing is way off.
Way off.
Because it's like you have a slow opening, a break. You have a slow opening, and then like you have some action in the middle. Then just breakneck speed. Don't, like, you open up plot points. Don't close them at all. Leave for interpretation. Like WandaVision, where the hell White Vision at?
We still got to deal with that. We still have to deal with that, right? After even after Doctor Strange, we still haven't dealt with where White Vision is.
Right. That's a good segue into talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or AKA season 1.5, season 2 of WandaVision. Let's just go ahead. I'm not even going to do a spoiler-free rendition of this. We all saw Doctor Strange. This is what we're here to talk about. This was one of my most highly anticipated movies of 2022. Refer to other podcasts in the link wherever I'm going to put it. And I just want to jump into it and talking about it. I want to start with Marco. What was your first initial thoughts of it? You can go spoiler free, however you want to go.
Spoil the hell out of it. Why not? We've all seen it, and if you haven't, go listen. Go watch it and come back. Right. I was super excited for this one, as I was, I mean, maybe not quite as much as I was for Spider-Man No Way Home, but definitely geared up for this. I definitely enjoyed it. I wanted to enjoy it more, right? I really like some of the places they went with it. Some of the directions we didn't see coming, right? I didn't know that Wanda was going to be the big bad. Right, so that was a decent surprise, although I thought they could have done something better with it. I understand her motivations, but some of it was a little strange, right? That she just, it did weird things with her character, that she was just trying to get it for her, go for after her imaginary kids. Yeah, and that she was so bent on it, and no mention of wanting to be in a universe where Vision was. Just kept on where the kids were, right? Where the kids. Right. So that was a little strange for me. I'm okay with the horror aspects of it. I could have done without them. It didn't improve it for me, but it didn't detract for me. Yeah, it's just a different take on a Marvel movie. So, kudos to Sam Raimi. He does a great job with his horror stuff. It didn't detract, but I didn't need it either. It wasn't super, because you still had to make it PG-13, right? So it's almost we're going to throw a little horror in there, but we can only do so much with this. This has to end up on Disney Plus at some point. They were restricted in that way. The cameos with the Illuminati, absolutely loved it. I want more. I'm pissed that they killed them all off, but I want more. But again, it's a multiverse. They can come back in different forms. We know we're going to get a Fantastic Four. Krasinski has not stated, nor have they said he's not going to play him, but he hasn't stated that he will be playing him from a different universe. I wouldn't mind, although it was a little jarring seeing him, because I know him from The Office. So to see him, I read today that Patrick Stewart said he would be open to doing more Professor X in the future if they asked him to. At first, he was going to retire. He said, no, I'm done. Let somebody else, whatever. But I read some today that he said he'd be like, all right, that's okay. We can do another shot at it if you need me. I wouldn't mind now that we got him in the actual gold chair. But we're going to talk about that when we get to if we get to that Illuminati scene. There's some bullshit that bothered me about that scene, and how even Professor X was taken out so easily.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that scene. We're going to do
I get everybody else. I get Mr. Fantastic. Love the character, but come on, what's he going to do against Wanda? Right. But Professor X, the most powerful telepath who could just go into her mind instantly and shut her down.
We're going to get into that. Marcel, what was some of your first initial thoughts of the movie and leading up to it, and just your overall experience?
I was very much looking forward to this movie. I was more excited for this movie than I was for Spider-Man, to be honest with you. I was very much looking forward to it because I love the first Doctor Strange movie. And for years, I've been telling myself I can't wait to the sequel to see an unchained, more mature Doctor Strange, where he's not tripping over himself and where he's not just constantly using that magic whip and shield the entire movie. And we basically got that this movie. I was a little disappointed, and I'll admit part of it was my excitement for it. I can admit that I did have high expectations, and that always ruins any experience when your expectations are at 100 and the movie comes in at a 60. But honestly, ultimately, man, I give it like a 6 out of 10. I thought it was, I don't give it a bad score. I thought it was horrible. It was a lot of missed opportunities in my opinion. It was a lot of and I get that Doctor Strange is very powerful, and you have to tell a story, right? And there has to be conflict in a movie. So I get why he's not just like, casting one spell and, ending entire, scenes and things. But it was like the opening scene with the what's the guy? It was the mini Shumagorov. I can't even think of the little guy, the multi-tentacle monster.
The demon in the opening. Yeah,
I cannot think of his name, man. I know it's not
Shumagora.
It's not Shumagora, but the tentacle monster at the beginning of the movie. Everybody saw it. But it was like, all right, so we have Doctor Strange here, and they have him like, it was a battle that lasted for a long time. I guess it was cool. It started off interesting, but it was like it turned into again of him throwing whips and just blocking stuff. And at one point he threw a chain on it, trying to hold the monster down? Him and Wong like threw a chain on it. It's like, what is this? Like, come on, man. Like, this fight lasted way longer than it should have. And the movie just a lot of missed opportunities because the movie gets started right away. I like how things just kind of get started, like that first act, and then America Chavez shows up. That was really cool, but I think it kind of went downhill after that. After that first act, man, like it just kind of like after America Chavez and after Wanda's attack on attack on the sanctuary, it just kind of was like
Kamar-Taj,
yeah, Kamar-Taj. It was just, I don't know, like because it teased you so much. It was like, oh my goodness, like they're bouncing through the different universes. It's like, oh my god, this shit is about to be bananas. Like,
didn't you want to see more?
Right.
Thank you. It's like so much but it's like called the Multiverse of Madness, and it was like one verse. And it
right.
Really
two.
Madness.
The main one and the other one with the Illuminati. It was like the two you really saw.
Right. And I don't know. They stayed in that one.
I spent an extra minute in the paint universe. Something. I don't really care. Give us something else.
Something, just an extra cameo or so many Marvel references. Yeah. And it just was so like, I don't know, just such a huge missed opportunity. I think it was weird that honestly my favorite scene in the entire movie was Bruce Campbell's cameo from like his relationship with Sam Raimi. I thought that was best.
Funny shit.
Well, I won't say best because obviously, like, come on now.
But that was funny though. His after credit scene, which is basically a Ferris Bueller's Day Off reference.
Right, exactly.
It's over. Go home.
That was cool. I love the fact that he was like beating himself up at the hot dog stand. It's like such a callback to Evil Dead. Him just like beating and fighting himself. Like that was so cool to me. But like you said, Marco, the horror aspect of it was very interesting. I actually liked it, but it didn't necessarily do anything for the story. The story, like, there were chunks that could have been taken out of that movie and it would have been the same movie. Like I like that whole multiverse thing could have been not in the movie. Like,
because it wasn't done enough. We could have had a lot more of it.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. It was a big letdown. But I mean, the Wanda being the villain, the main antagonist, that was cool. I don't think anybody saw that coming. That was very interesting.
Okay, cool.
I thought she was going to be a problem. I didn't think she was going to be the problem.
Right, I didn't know what I thought.
But don't forget, the trailers kind of, in a way, led us to believe she was going to help.
Right.
When you saw that scene when it looks like her and Wong are fighting side by side against the big rock monsters, they completely threw us, a curveball on that one. Fancy editing on their trailers.
Yeah. Unnecessary fancy. But I think that was like,
that's Marvel, right?
Yeah, and I know this is a personal thing, and I feel like maybe somebody could like join in with me on it, but I don't like death in my Marvel movies, the way they killed the Illuminati, the way they did. Like it was like weird to me. It kind of like, that's why I didn't like Days of Future Past. It was just like a little brutal for me to see. I mean, that's just me.
Have you not read a comic book? Like they kill.
It's different in the comic book, but I don't want to see Mr. Fantastic literally get ripped to ribbons. That kind of, I was like,
that hurt a little bit.
Yeah, that hurt.
Right, it hurt
because we had 2 seconds of him. It's not like it's not like with Tony Stark where he had 10 years.
Right.
All right, he can go. I'm fine with that. Or even Chris Evans. All right, it's been 10, 12 years with this guy. Your contract's up. Go. We had 2 minutes with him.
That's
Look.
and that to me was the biggest surprise of the movie. I think, and okay,
Yeah.
last point I'm making, we can move on. Look, I thought that the movie kind of suffered from the same issue that Spider-Man No Way Home suffered from, and that was just too much being revealed before the movie came out. Like, I don't understand the trend of revealing so much. Like, we're going to go watch the movie. Like, you don't have to show the entire movie through the trailer.
We knew
like,
Professor X was going to be there.
Yeah,
we knew
that.
Agent Captain Carter was going to be in there.
We knew John Krasinski was going to be Mr. Fantastic.
I did not know that. I didn't know that.
For him to be him for the last 2
I
years.
mean, you could guess that, just like the Spider-Man No Way Home thing. You could guess that, the other Spider-Man was going to be in the movie, but it was not in the trailer. But it was like the internet.
Not in the trailer. They digitally took them out of the trailer.
They
One of
digitally took
the
it
worst.
They
Oh,
did.
what are
It was
you
horrible.
doing? You got Lizard getting knocked away from nothing. Like, just leave that scene out, you nitwits.
Anyway, but I think they just revealed way too much. There were not really a lot of surprises other than Wanda being a villain. I did not know Mr. Fantastic was going to be in the movie, and that was really it. And everything. Anyway, the Illuminati scene was just anyway.
All right, Jason. You've been quiet. What are your first initial thoughts? First initial thoughts of Doctor Strange in the multiverse, three verses of madness.
So I'm gonna start off saying that this movie's multiverse, it still doesn't top everything everywhere all at once. My second point is, a lot of people were mad about the Illuminati, but I read the comics. I'm like, these motherfuckers needed to get that shit happen to them because they think that they the smartest motherfuckers on the planet and they never get their comeuppance. So when they finally got it, I like, that's what you bitches get. Cause as soon as Maria Rambo said, "Oh, we can handle your little witch," Doc Strange was like, "All right, so I'm gonna let y'all die. I'm gonna stay here with him."
Right.
And then now what threw me through a loop, because I was thinking, man, it's gonna be Sam Raimi, so he's gonna put like a little bit of horror aspects in it, and it ain't gonna be too brutal. Then when I heard that what mouth, and then I saw that dude, I saw Black Bolt blow his own brand out. Oh shit! Boy, some kid behind me was crying. Like, I was like, bro, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. That's too much, yo.
But me personally, I like the horror aspect and the brutality.
Emotional damage.
Boy, I'm talking because it was so funny because like I saw this thing 2 times. So my second time, this was with the little family. So this is like, it's okay, baby. Reed Rich is still alive. Reed Rich get turned into
Getty and then popped out of existence.
and then I'm just thinking, I look back at that. Hey, I'm pretty sure they're gonna handle their own. As soon as Captain Carter said, I can do this all day. Wanda said, "Bitch, no, you cannot."
They turned her into a Darth Maul.
Cut ass.
Shot her ass in half.
Monica Rambeau, she was hanging in there to the 11th. Then Wanda came with that knockout punch at the bottom of the 12th. And then I'm like, oh my God, she just obliterated this whole group in the matter of 3 minutes. And then Professor X, old ass, in the comics and the movies, he just get brutally murdered. So I'm just waiting for this old white man to be murdered. I know it's gonna happen.
He's been murdered what, 3 or 4 times?
Yes, he has. Like, why they keep crapping on this man? Like, why they do that to him?
Well, also in the comic, Professor X, he's too helpful for his own good.
Right.
So he does what he thinks is best for that person, but he always winds up either being the villain or getting brutally murdered. Like Deadpool one time gave him a whole fucking lobotomy when he killed the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So he's always gotten brutally murdered. It's like a running gag with Professor X. So when he got murdered, now I will say this, I was not expecting her to come up behind him and snap his neck. That shit scared the shit out of me. Like,
right.
where the fuck you come from?
I'm
But
kind of
yeah,
like
man.
with Marco. I was expecting like them to have a big, huge mental battle. No, he just like neck broke. That's it. And I was
Yep.
like, oh well.
And I mean, one thing I like that they do really well in these movies now, because they've gotten away from like, you know, Sony doing it or whatever, is when he's using his mental powers, you can see the vibration come through.
That. I love
Yeah.
that they included that into it. It
Same-
was like,
And they
the
did that
theme
in
song-
they did that in No Way Home
right.
for Peter when he gets knocked out of his body, and you can see the Spidey sense waves coming out of his head, and that's how he's able to control his real body and take the box away. You can see that Spidey sense. Like, you know, it's the same thing. Harken all the way back to the first Avengers when Thor spins the hammer to fly.
Right.
Like, these motherfuckers know what they're doing.
Right.
They know how to handle these characters, right? That's fan service left, right, and center. You know that's what you've been wanting to see for how many decades?
Right, exactly. To me, my favorite scene was Professor X doing this with the waves. I was like, oh shit!
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. That was my favorite scene. But that Illuminati scene altogether, like I agree and disagree with all y'all on like almost everything. I love that they brought in the Illuminati. I love that they killed them off, and I kind of wanted more of that horror. Like, you gave me Sam Raimi doing horror, and I'm familiar with his work. Give me that horror. I understand it's Disney and it has to be PG, but like, if you're gonna do it, go hard. Don't bitch out. But they bitched out, and here we are. Like Marcel said, you could take out all the horror stuff and some of the stuff and the multiverse stuff. Same movie. Shorter runtime.
Well, the thing about I wasn't really necessarily mad though. I love the horror just because I love Sam Raimi style of horror, and I like how this movie could be rated R, but Sam Raimi was like, "Can I do this? Yeah, but try to hold back. All right, but what if I try this? Like you pushing it. All right, so I'm gonna do this. All right, look, you get one more chance." But he keeps on trying to put. He pushing that PG-13 rating, but that's what I like. That's why I like the Batman, because it was pushing that PG. I like when movies, like, everything doesn't gotta be rated R. A good movie, you can have a good movie by being creative with the limitations that you're working with. Now, Sam Raimi said there's an extra 2 hours and there's a extra 30 minutes that he wanted to put in there, but they didn't let him, so they're gonna release it on the Blu-ray. But I just think that Sam Raimi was the perfect director for this, because not only Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite horror movies. It's a perfect blend of horror and comedy. Yeah. And that horror, my favorite scene is when Wanda is fucking Jason Voorhees chasing America, Kristen and Dr. Strange. The whole time I'm like, she limping, but y'all need to run. Get up, like some black lady with some black lady when we thought they were safe and Wanda busted through. Only you heard in the back was, "Oh hell no, y'all better run."
Oh my god.
But I like that about the movie. Now, a problem I had with it was the pacing and the story itself, and the climax. Because the climax, I'm like, the writers wrote that climax because they kind of wrote themselves in the corner when Scarlet Witch was fucking up the most powerful people in the multiverse.
Right.
So they said, "Oh, Wanda will beat herself." I'm like, that's some bullshit.
No, I like that ending. I like that ending for her because it kind of fits with the whole theme of WandaVision. It reminded me of that scene where she's sitting there on the bed and Vision's like, grief is just love, persevering and shit. And I'm like, the way to beat Wanda is not to fight her head on with magic versus magic and power level versus power level. It's to deal with her emotional psyche, like with Moon Knight, and they dealt with the mental illness aspect of it. Wanda was a mother's scorn. Her imaginary children were taken from her wrongfully, and she had to go and get justice for her children, and the only way she would stop is to see that she's hurting real other people that she has nothing to do with. Like, just because in this universe she created you, but in this universe you're real, doesn't make you her mother. I think this was like perfect, like the perfect Wanda story. I love Elizabeth Olsen's like acting in it, and this was like Wanda at her most powerful. Obviously, we're gonna see more of the Scarlet Witch. She's not dead. Spoilers be damned. She's not dead. She's coming back. So like I love this tale of Wanda. Doctor Strange, like how I feel about Black Panther, kind of was a side character in his own movie.
But that's why I didn't like, because I'm like, yo, this is a Doctor Strange movie, but like it's like everybody told Doctor Strange, yeah, get your ass in the back, man. We'll call you when the ride is over. But get your ass in the back. This is a Wanda movie. This is like we putting a mental patient in front of you. We put a little Hispanic chick in front of you.
Well, we're gonna talk about that in a second.
And he was underused.
And then also not only gonna do that, but yeah, your best friend, you taking the back seat to him as well.
I agree. Wong is my Sorcerer Supreme, hands down.
And then what made it even worse, the whole movie they kept asking, "Are you happy?"
That's so ironic, but yeah, he kind of did take a backseat to Wong and Wanda, and even America a little bit. I do feel like America, like even though she was in the movie wasn't about her. She just moved the plots and the scenes along whenever she was on screen. But anything else, like it was about her, but just not her being the main focus. I do like Benedict Cumberbatch's performance as all the different versions of Doctor Strange, but it did feel a little underused. Like they brought in the whole what if background with the evil Doctor Strange and the third eye and everything like that, which we can talk about that too. And I love that, but I did want to see more. This movie left me wanting to see more, and it wasn't like an in-game type of, this is 3 hours, you're going to sit and watch all of this. And I want to see what those extra 30 minutes are. I want to see more. It wasn't a perfect movie. It had its flaws. We're going to talk about some of those in a second. But I initially enjoyed it. I was definitely looking forward to this. And I'm glad I saw it, but it should have just been called WandaVision 2.0. It should have just been called that.
Man, now, one thing I did like about it is what they did with the musical score. That was something I never seen before. And then plus it was also nice to hear Danny Elfman. But it was what they did in that scene when they were playing with the notes. Some people didn't like it. They said it was stupid, but I thought it was it was really creative, because I've never seen a musical score being used in a fight.
I checked out the movie when that happened.
Oh, like, really?
Can we carry up and get our stuff together and get the hell out of this movie? I was done.
I don't know, man.
This is too fucking silly at this point. Like, can we make a real movie here?
I gotta agree with Marcel. Like, I felt like, Doctor Strange's power is whatever looks good in CGI, because this whole music battle, it's beautiful, it's creative. It makes no sense of what's happening with the plot of the movie or displaying their power levels or anything.
Well, I think it was just more Sam Raimi having fun, because
having fun.
Like I do all the time. I like.
It did go on a long time.
Yes.
We got the entire score, like whatever they were playing. We shorten this up to a sonnet or something. I need something quicker.
I thought it was like cool and cute at first. I was like, that's cool. But it kept going. I was like, it's a horrible joke that you like fake laughing at first, like, haha. All right,
we got the entire Boston Pops theater. Like by the third act, you're like, they're still going. Okay.
Wow.
We're gonna get the marches now. Great. They're gonna start playing the Star Wars theme in a second. Is John Williams in there?
That's what I was expecting.
Can we call John Williams to put a stop to this?
I don't know. I guess like for me, I just like how it was done. Like, wow, it's something I've never seen before. And then I can like we are in a universe with a talking trash cat and a fucking tree. So a tree that says I'm Groot. So I'm like, I liked it because it was something new that I've never seen, And then plus, like I said, that was just something really cool to me. And then I was surprised how the other Doctor Strange died. Like, oh, damn. I didn't know you were gonna kill him like that.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna go horror, give me the horror. Don't Disney my horror like that. I didn't appreciate that too much.
I'll put it like this. People say this Disney style horror. Like, no, if you look at this and The Ring is fucked up for a PG-13 movie, but it was pushing what it could do with PG-13. This is pushing it. Yeah, you ain't seen no blood, but you visibly saw people get fucked up.
I'm just saying, like, all right, let's go back to that Black Bolt scene. So you saw, like, 5-10 minutes before his death, you saw what he did to that universe's Doctor Strange. Completely obliterated him by just saying, I'm sorry, in a casual tone. So him, like, oh, where's your mouth or whatever, and then he, like, speak and blow his own brains out. That should have been more traumatic to me. But I get it. Disney.
What the? You trying to traumatize these kids, man?
Hey, it's not my fault. Put the R rating on it. The parents know this ain't for kids. This is a different side of Disney. That's all I'm saying.
Well, also the horror in this, if you would have put a rated R on it, it would have gave me how I felt about the violence in Punisher season 1. A lot of that shit was unnecessary, and even me, even I like Punisher, like, bro, you ain't had to do all that. like you ain't had to do all that you ain't had to chop that man up like that. You had to blow the man's head off when you already killed him. Like, I feel like this just gave me enough to like, oh, that's brutal. I get it, and not be like, ooh, damn, I get it. I'm about to throw up. So I liked it because like the whole time, like everything with Wanda was a fucking horror scene. Like, yeah, from her going through the fucking reflections, to her possessing herself, to her playing peekaboo with Professor X.
Oh my god. Like all of that, like, hey, guess what? like I was saying, people behind me was like, oh, he might take Wanda out. The Scarlet was like, got you, bitch. They broke it. They like, oh shit. Yeah. And then my main problem about this movie is, if you saw the first one and you saw this one, you'd be like, how does a sequel to the first one? Cause people saying, oh, it's a sequel to the first Doctor. Like, I mean, I thought we were going to follow the black dude with the horrible wig, but I guess not. Nah, this was purely a sequel to WandaVision without White Vision.
It is an issue when you change directors. Right. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Even the Thor series went through that, right? We had Kenneth Branagh on the first one. And the second one was really shit, but thank God we got Taika Waititi for the next two. Yeah, right. But we did a much better job. It's too bad he wasn't the first to do all four. But like the Russo brothers taking care of the series that they did, obviously with Ryan Coogler doing the Black Panther, the second one, even without Chadwick Boseman, it'll still feel like the same series of movies. When you completely change director from the first Doctor Strange, you're gonna get a different type of movie. So there's disconnect there. I agree with you. It's not it doesn't feel like a sequel to the first one.
And it just hurts that they take so long to come out. Like, man,
this one took a while. It had to, because they had to get the story. If they're going to go multiverse with him, because who else are they going to do multiverse with, right? Oh, the sorcerer, right? So you had to throw in all that, but you had to get through that whole like beginning of the multiverse stuff, and what's her name had to kill that version of Kang. You know what I mean? So that's what started this whole thing. Right. We had to get there, right? There's a lot of story to get there.
I just want to see more Doctor Strange, honestly. I like the character. I like what he's capable of. I just want to see more of him. Yeah. And that just, like I say, it hurts when one sucks, when the sequel to me, was not that great. It's like, all right, when do we get the third one? It's going to be like 2030 before we get, the third one.
But he'll be in so much other stuff, right? He's going to have to pop in. He's already said it. Like, I know his contract had been up, but he said he's up for doing at least another 10 years of this. Yeah. That's what he said. So
the way I want, since we have Doctor Strange, somehow they got to use Doctor Strange to bring in Brother Voodoo. I want to
I shouldn't be laughing, but yeah, that would be cool. This is the name. It's his name that throws me
because he is the only black sorcerer supreme, and he's one of the strongest. And I was
he's actually really powerful. Yeah,
I was like, man, I hope we get a brother Voodoo, but I guess I'll be getting Horseface, Beta Ray Bills before I get Voodoo.
Well, that's not that bad either. I kind of want to see Beta Ray Bill.
I'm cool with it. I'm just saying, I wish I could see brother. I'm gonna say brother Bill, brother Voodoo.
Brother Bill.
You're on first name basis. That's awesome.
I just wish I could see brother Voodoo before I see Beta Ray Bill.
So let's kind of get into a little bit more of what we each didn't like about the movie. Marco, why don't you elaborate just in whole what didn't you like about the movie?
Sure, I definitely the missed opportunities. I definitely want to, going into the Multiverse of Madness. We said it. It's the 3 universes of madness. Right. I would like to have seen more. Right. I want to explain. There was so much. We stuck around in so many of the 3 universes for so long. In a 2-hour movie, we definitely could have got more chunks of him popping through different universes and sticking around, not just a quick flyby. Right. We saw that in What If. We did that in What If, and they kept popping through really quickly all the different universes. Right. I would like to stick around and see a little bit more of them, even if you didn't have a ton of other cameos, or you could have used the same people, right? You could have used another Agent Carter, could have been different, you know what I mean, or another, Mr. Fantastic. Even if you use similar ones, how do they look in that? We started with Doctor Strange, right? We saw how many different ways he looked in different universes. It still would have been cool to see different representations of Reed, or Professor X, or Monica. That would have been cool to me. I would like to see more of that.
Right.
Take out a little bit of the of maybe some of the chase, the Wanda chase scenes, which is limpy Wanda, who ends up in front of them no matter what. This kind of gets a little ridiculous at some points. Like, I understand Michael Myers can pull it off, but how are you doing this?
Right.
So a little bit less of that and a little bit more of the actual multiverse stuff would have been cool, and a little bit more American Chavez. I don't know that her character was rounded out enough. We had the and this must be me. I don't know if anybody else missed this. I understand her mothers were lesbians, and it's fine, and she's supposed to be too. Did anybody see that representation in there with her? I don't remember if they said something or alluded to it. I don't remember.
They said it, but it was just like, oh, your mother's a lesbian.
Yeah, but they didn't say she was. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong. But
I didn't catch it.
Right, but I've seen articles her writing about it and how people were pissy that she was. But because people pissy about anything.
Her, they just said her mother's, and that was it. That's all.
Yeah, and then there was no payoff for that either. We got no payoff from the mothers either. We never got to see them again. So her story never really rounded. She's just in Carmitage. She's got her sling ring and she's off to the races. She's trying to make circles. She's trying to make pretty circles happen.
Well,
that didn't make any sense to me. Well, I said this before, Jason, the other night. I would have rather seen her go back to a different multiverse and train. Now she's at the X Mansion or something of that respect. If she's going to learn her power, it's not going to be at Carmitage. It's going to be at the X Mansion. That's where you train to learn how to, learn how to use your powers like that.
I agree, and I kind of thought that's what was going to happen, but they technically haven't introduced the X-Men to the 616 universe yet.
Yeah, put her in a different universe. She can go through any one she wants.
That's what I was thinking they was going to do, but I feel like they was like, hey, here's the multiverse, but they only gave us just like a slice of the multiverse. It was like, we have more, but let's just see if this sticks first.
Go back to the other universe, right, where we had Professor X. Go back to the X-Men. Hey, sorry, Cue Ball got taken out. I'm here. Right. What do you got for me? Who's in charge now?
That, like you said, could have been such a huge opportunity to introduce more of the X-Men to the MCU, but they did. Yeah. But I agree. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I didn't really. I like how they explain their magic system and how we got a lot of magical fights, but it was a lot of what we've seen before. And I wanted to see a lot more of the horror aspect dealt with magic and more of the just magic fights. I thought the finale would be Wanda and Doctor Strange squaring off and fighting each other, but they went a whole different route with that, the emotional way, which technically kind of is the right way to go about it, minus that whole America believe in yourself bullshit. But I like how they took down Wanda and made the big bad come back to the light side of the force, if that makes sense.
She learned that power really quick.
But
yeah,
she got one little pep talk. You can do it. You can do it.
I feel like that was more for Gen Z and Gen Alpha because they believe in that kind of stuff. I'm kind of like, nah, you got to do the hard work and train and put.
But the reason why I wasn't too mad about it was because when she thought that she stood a chance, Wanda stopped that. Wanda looked at her like, "Bitch, what the fuck you think you're doing?"
Right.
I'm gonna kill you. Like I'm legit finna kill you. What, you think this gonna work?
It is kind of funny. The first punch thrown at Wanda, she blocked, and then again it just opened up a whole multiverse thing. And I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. But I was expecting more of a fisticuff type of finale, or give me giant space lasers, something. But they gave me this, and it's completely different. So I'm gonna like it because it was completely different. But again, I want to go back to just so many missed opportunities. I guess they're going to build up to a bigger magic fight between Doctor Strange and Wanda Maximoff or something at some point. I felt like the whole her killing Professor X, that should have been a way bigger battle.
Should have been a bigger fight.
Right.
It should have a mental fight.
Right. Even when she was squaring off against her alternate multiverse self, who she puppeteered, and her kids, like, hey, those kids are real and they're mutants. Have their mutant genes activate and quick speed, and they like, hey, this is our mom. Don't fuck with our mother, and their genes activate, and hey, more mutants. There you go.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
I mean, I know they've been pushing the fact that they're not going to introduce mutants for a while.
Yeah,
like we have a while before they introduce the mutants.
Then why even bother introducing Professor X in the movie?
Exactly, because at this point, it's just getting frustrating. Like, it's just do it or don't.
Teasing us. They know we want mutants in Fantastic Four. They gave us this taste, and they could have gave us so much more, but they was like, no, you don't deserve it yet. And I'm not gonna lie. Since Endgame, I've been sitting back wondering, what is Marvel literally gonna do next? You did all this with Phase 1, 2, and 3. You did Endgame. You had this big epic battle. Everybody loved it. Completely changed movie goer theater experiences, and like, I want to go to a movie theater where everybody gets it and we all are experiencing this at the same time. I didn't get that with this one, maybe because I went to a 3 p.m. showing and everybody was just there and just chilling because it was hot that day, but nobody was enthusiastic. Like, there were scenes where I'm clapping and cheering and I'm the only one in the theater doing anything. Embarrassing myself.
Well, the thing about what they're saying, this is how I'm looking at it. The only logical route they can go now, for their big event, is Secret Wars. That's the only path that they're going, because they're introducing the multiverse, and Kang is going to be coming along. Now, Fantastic Four is coming out whenever. That's going to introduce Doom. So we'll have Kang and we'll have Doom. So Kang is I'm pretty sure Kang will play the Loki role. And if Doom is not the big bad, it's gonna be another multiversal threat. So it's just they're trying to slowly build the blocks back up, because I think they've already said that they're not going to do Avengers movies, but there's going to be team up movies. But I'm cool with
that's a lot, because they're clearly leading to the Young Avengers, they're setting up the Dark Avengers if they want to go that route.
We're not getting the main we're not getting like the main Avengers. We're getting like these little teams, but mostly people are going to be coming into other people's movies because that's what they've been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, people going to be mad. There's just a theory of mine. Guardians, they're only going to be there for a little bit. They're not going to be there the whole movie. But they're just going to.
I kind of feel like that whole scene in the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, that's all the Guardians you're going to get is that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but
because they have their third movie coming out, and Batista's already said goodbye. He popped up a tweet today. I think it was today. He said goodbye to the character. He's done.
Oh yeah, James Gunn will kill some of that cast off. Yeah, if not most of them.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, Guardians has been different people, different characters, so they can keep reintroducing new if they want to, and they have to at some point. They have to keep refreshing.
Like I said, there's plenty of things that Marvel can do. Now that we're more to the comic book aspect of these movies, we can finally get a Ghost Rider, not Nicolas Cage. We can finally get there's a quick see, and you miss it with their when they're traveling through multiverses. You see the Living Tribunal.
Yep.
You do.
We can we'll see the Beyonder. We can see Galactus not as a poop cloud.
Yeah.
We like.
Thank God. That was bullshit on a stick.
Even for then, when we didn't have anything, it was bullshit.
Right.
So like,
afraid to do giant. Now that we had the Eternals, and we had the Celestial, and I know we're not really big fans of Eternals. At least we have the Celestials. So now we know they can do, you know what I mean, that size characters and work it into the thing. Still want us to see it. I just don't need to see one popping out of Earth.
Now.
That has no effect on the planet, by the way.
Right.
Now,
Please, that shit would have spun itself right off its orbit, right off its axis, and gone right out into space. And all of a sudden, this globe that spins has big shit hanging out of it.
Right.
And it didn't change the rotation. It's now wobbling. And we have a car that gets like a rock in the tire and how it starts to fucking wobble. The thing is coming out of the earth. It's a half a head and a hand. If the thing's just not going to wobble the fuck off into space. No, it's fine. It's okay. It'll be fine.
Well, where else are the Eternals going to meet? Because in the comics, that's their headquarters. That's their home, basically. And like, yeah, we murdered this giant. We're going to make his head our home now.
Taking out of Earth? I can suspend disbelief so far until the science of the planet doesn't rotate anymore that way.
I do not bullshit you. They legit make a home out of homie's skull in the comics.
Oh, no, I believe you. But I wouldn't buy it there either.
Right.
But my main problem about this movie, though, my biggest flaw, maybe because I saw this movie first, but Everything Everywhere All at Once, it should have been called the Multiverse of Madness, because so much crazy shit went on in that movie, and it wasn't just crazy to be crazy. It was crazy because the shit had a purpose. The shit we see in this movie, even though like a lot of things I like, it served no purpose.
It served no purpose.
Yeah.
And this should be called the Multiverse of Weirdness, not the Multiverse of Madness, because Madness was like them quick clips of them going through the multiverse. It was more weird. It was more weird than mad, but like I said, maybe because I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I feel like they handle their multiverse, like the way their multiverse works, a whole lot better than what they did. I'm just saying, Everything Everywhere All at Once had hot dog fingers, so.
I don't know. I'm kind of like that whole scene where they were going through multiverses. I was like, they did this in the first Doctor Strange movie. Is that the only tie-in between that movie and Mordo that they're gonna do? Like, do something different. Like they could have lingered a little bit longer in some of those universes and introduced something, and they just didn't. So I agree with you there. But yeah, Marcel, what about you? What overall didn't you just like about the movie?
I don't want to keep beating it. That was really it. Just a letdown of what the possibilities. To be honest with you, the possibilities were almost endless, and they literally gave us 1-2 things out of a buffet. They let you eat off that one little plate right there. So it was a big letdown. And then at the end, like I said, I was checked out after the magical musical thing. I was like, okay, I'm done. But I did come back in mentally, and I was like, oh, what's this? Okay, the movie's about to end. Let me wrap my brain back up to get out of here. And the America Chavez pep talk superpower, oh, we're running out of runtime for the movie, figuring out how to use all our powers all at once was effing stupid.
I agree.
It was dumb. But I get it. The movie's about to be over. You have to end it. But I don't know. It could have been something better than that. That was bad.
And that post-credit scene, that first post-credit scene is the post-credit scenes I hate, because they just did that to introduce a character that we're not going to see for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I was talking to somebody.
And do that.
I was talking to somebody about it. I think, like we were saying, like Mark was mentioning earlier, I think we're kind of done with those days of everybody in the theater being on the same page. I mean, maybe if you go to like a really like early screening, like I don't know, like a really good screen at a good theater or something, but because they're introducing characters, and I'll admit, I didn't know who the character was. I had to look it up.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like, we're at a point where people like me who don't get me wrong, I'm not like super duper deep into it, but I mean, I've literally read comics and played the video games and stuff my entire life. And it's at a point where I don't know the characters. Like you're gonna see a huge drop off in people being entertained.
I never played with the Clea action figure.
Me neither.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not that there's nothing wrong because they're introducing characters. One, they have such a deep lore and a deep roster of characters they can
yeah.
And two,
forever.
like they have like multiple generations of audiences that they gotta take care of. A lot of us, not trying to age us, but we were phase 1, 2, and 3. That was us. Now they're catering to the Ultimate Universe kids who grew up like post 2008 comics and things like that, with the Miss Marvel, the young Indian lady with with her Marvel powers and things like that. And Moon Knight I kind of knew about, but he wasn't one of those characters.
I understand it, and you have to introduce new characters. But like I say, like everybody knows Captain America, everyone knows Iron Man, the Hulk, Spider-Man. Yep. Everyone knows these characters. But when you get to a point where your cliffhanger is a character I don't even know, like I have to go.
Yeah. When you still have plenty of characters we do know. Right. We know who Namor is. We know we're going to hopefully get him in Wakanda. We know the Fantastic Four. We know the X-Men. There's a lot of characters, A-list characters we still know. And you're right. You threw like a maybe an F-list, maybe an E-list character. It's not even a B or C-list character like threw in there to hopefully. And you have to remember that we're going to go to where Dormammu is. Like, I don't... Which I get, and I understand the multiverse tie-in with it, but we had him, and I really couldn't care to see him again. Like, we defeated Dormammu. It's good. It's in the past. Right. I don't want to see them jump back in there and have to deal with him again. Yeah, as much as I love the Loki character, I don't really need another whole movie with him because we've seen him enough. We're gonna get Loki too, so.
I agree.
Well, I think it's not going to be Dormammu because I don't know much about Doctor Strange, but I think that in that little escape that he's in, I think there's also a character called Nightmare that dwells in there too. So I think we won't get Dormammu, but probably get Nightmare. But like I said, it kind of sucks for Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange, he doesn't have a catalog of people.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Villains of people that people know. So at first, like my friend, she asked me, "Who that?" I looked at her. I don't fucking know.
It's Charlize Theron. It's Charlize Theron.
Yeah, right. That was my answer. I was like, I don't know.
But Marvel with the Eternals and this movie, they did that to me because the first time I was like, "Oh, look, it's Thanos' brother," and then when they showed what's his name. Kit Harington's character, I'm like, who's that? I don't fucking know. Hey, but
it was like that when they did Falcon and the Winter Soldier and they had Julie Louis-Dreyfus. I was like,
Valentina.
Her? Yeah, there you go. I was like, okay, let me go Google right quick.
Yep.
Oh, okay. A random off character. All right.
Yeah.
So where does Marvel go from here? Obviously, the next movie they're going to bring out is Thor: Love and Thunder, and that's definitely bringing in more Thor characters, more godlike characters, and god-killing characters.
Yeah, we get the God Killer. Yeah.
Right. So
oh my God, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it too. That's the one good thing about Doctor Strange. It left me like really wanting to go see Thor: Love and Thunder. Because I'm like, are we going to get a Thor 1 and 2? Are we going to get another Thor Ragnarok? Where are we going with this? So
yeah, we're definitely going to get Thor Ragnarok.
Right, exactly. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I just want to see more. But where does Marvel go from here?
But I think Jason's right. I think they're headed towards Secret Wars. Everything points towards that.
Right.
The incursions that they're talking about is when the universes start to come towards, like, they're basically going to crash into each other. And they can't fix that. One just has to be sacrificed. So that's the way it works. One of the universes that starts to crash has to be sacrificed. They can't separate them again. So at some point, it's all going to come together, and then you have Secret Wars. And then, like Jay said, like Dr. Doom, he's the God version of Dr. Doom who rules over the combined multiverse. So there's your way of getting X-Men into our universe and everybody else. comes in because it's all one really hodgepodge, really weird tapestry of universes all mixed together.
Right.
So you don't really have to do too much explanation as to why we all of a sudden have mutants but haven't had them before.
And I actually 100% agree with you. I think that's how they're going to introduce mutants. They're going to have secret wars and collapse the multiverse upon itself like they do in the comics. And now you got everything in one universe. I 100% think that's what's going to happen. But what about anybody else got any other thoughts and opinions, epiphanies, theories?
Well, my thing is the one movie show movie, whatever the fuck they're going to do with it. I can't wait. One thing I'm really excited for is Blade, because Blade it's kind of ironic that Blade is kind of the granddaddy of all this for Marvel.
Yeah,
I'm glad Blade is finally getting the respect that character deserves, and they're acknowledging the original Blade trilogy as being kind of part of the MCU unofficially. Not trilogy. I say Blade 1 and 2. Okay, good point.
Like, we don't talk about 3. But yeah,
I've said this before. You have to acknowledge the bad ones too, otherwise you don't learn anything.
That's true.
You don't remember what not to do. It's just like Batman and Robin. Is if you don't remember that existed, you are doomed to repeat it.
I'm not making movies, so I'm But my thing is, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see characters like that. I'm excited to see Namor. I still don't like the fact that he's a Mexican, because people going to have them wetback jokes for him. So, but I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Wakanda Forever, even though I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do at this point.
I don't know either, man. What are they gonna do with that?
Because at first I'm like, you know what? Maybe Shuri can take it. Then Letitia Wright, saying dumb shit. I'm like, yeah, never mind. Boy,
whatever theory you got,
like Winston Duke in the back, like, I better shut the fuck up.
What is this disease with people in Hollywood who can't keep their mouth shut?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, nobody wants your opinion. Just go act in the movie. You're not a doctor. You're not a politician. Just shut up and make a movie. Do you not understand about self-preservation? That rat will cancel you quick.
Yeah,
They will cancel. You work for a major corporation who has to answer to board members and sponsors. Yeah. Keep your mouth shut and just collect your paycheck.
I do not understand that.
I don't get it. And when you're done working for the rat, say whatever you want to say.
But like, yeah, I'm excited for a lot of characters. Thor Love, like I said, now that we're finally getting crazy with these movies, I want to see a Secret Wars. I can't wait to see Secret Invasion. I hope that with Thor we can do War of the Realms and get a proper Malekith, because that second movie can eat shit. So I'm just ready to see.
Do you think they're wanting to touch that character again for a while?
Yeah, I think they're gonna let that one just die.
I mean, that's still in everybody's. That taste is still in everybody's mouth.
I'm just, after reading the War of the Realms, I'm like, why could you not just save Malekith for later on? But you live, you learn. But I'm glad that we're still. Some of these shows are still grounded, but I'm kind of glad that they're letting these more fantastical characters actually be less grounded and more comic booky, because that just means the sky's the limit. Because like I said, the main thing I'm excited for is the Fantastic Four, because I want to see, all right, this is y'all's fourth time. This is the fourth time we are trying Dr. Doom. Can y'all please get him right?
Marvel will. I think I have faith in Marvel.
So I have
in the hands of Kevin Feige. Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, isn't he just Marvel? Isn't he the MCU version of? He's the movie aspect in of Marvel. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm just saying, I've been burned by so many times.
Was he, by the way, in that swirly, that little swirly thing that turned him to goo. That was fun.
Like, I never thought I would say, I never want to see y'all make a character black ever again, because you made me hate Fantastic Four. For years, like I ain't gonna lie, part of me was like, I'm sorry, John Krasinski, but the way you died, that character deserves it because that last movie was shit and boring. I'm sorry it's your face on his body, but something like that needed to happen. Matter of fact, they should have brought the whole Fantastic Four from that universe and just murdered them all.
Yeah.
Like Black Bolt, I feel Black Bolt, he deserved it too, because that Inhuman show was shit.
Yeah, I heard it was.
See, isn't that the missed opportunity? The cameos could have just been all the shit movies and horrible characters. You brought in and just kill them off one by one.
You could have had all the X-Men movies on there. You could have had a Deadpool cameo, just like, oh my god, they're killing off all of the shitty movies. And
Ryan Reynolds did it, right? Reynolds did it. He killed off the horrible Deadpool that he did. He killed himself off. Like that was great. Right, he kills off the Green Lantern thing. Like that was fantastic. So many could have done the same thing here.
They could have killed off Morbius. Like I know that's Sony, but they could have just ended that shit right there. That's just gonna ruin the MCU.
And I still can't believe that even in a superhero movie, black people always gotta die. And then what's so bad? As soon as Maria said, we can handle your little witch, I said, bitch, you finna die. Why you say that?
Yeah, I knew it too.
I was like, no,
no, die the most horrible.
Your dying words right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so stupid how they killed her. They just dropped a statue on top of her.
But Mordo's still alive, just stuck in the little trench. You can't seem to scale the wall.
I kind of appreciated
all that magic in this wall is really treacherous.
Right.
To be honest, I was kind of happy she didn't get a brutal death. Cause like, please don't kill a black person brutally. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Mordo could have went because that wig horrible.
Yeah,
that wig is horrible.
Like she could have scalped his ass because that wig horrible.
This is
wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Like Disney, Mickey, stop borrowing from the Tyler Perry collection. You got money. And then also just one thing that I noticed, there's a lot of technical things wrong with this movie. One, a lot of those camera angles, maybe because I was fucked up, but they made me distorted and dizzy. And like when they came out of Dreams, especially Wanda, that shit where they turned the camera, like there was no need for that. And
they were doing that on purpose.
And also, was it just me or did like Doctor Strange's hair was a different shade of black in a lot of scenes?
Yeah,
I didn't pick up on that.
Doctor Strange's hair definitely went to different multiverses.
Yeah. I was like, bro,
different multiverse barbers.
That's funny.
It's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Barbers.
Right.
Great.
I'll look out for it.
Look, we just made a better movie.
I'm telling you, man, everything ever, all the ones. I hate to say it, but they did the multiverse idea better.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. You kind of bring up a good point. Spider-Man so far is the best multiverse type movie, and they didn't even go to different multiverses. They just brought those characters to one universe. But still the best rendition of a multiverse story so far.
We got a lot more multiverse to go.
I know
we do.
More. True. I know. Because I feel like personally Loki did not do a good job explaining the multiverse and timelines and things like that. Introducing it, but not explaining it and like thoroughly doing its due diligence and telling everybody what it is.
But dear Jesus, they spent a long time on it, didn't they?
Yeah.
There was a lot of exposition to not actually explain it.
Yeah, I've never even finished it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it was that last one was a tough sit. We're just watching two people explain something for like 45 minutes was really tough.
I'm not gonna lie.
Just for her to stab him at the end. Like, all right.
The whole Jonathan Majors scene and
could have started with that. That'd have been helpful if you just started with the stabbing.
Right. I do realize one huge issue that I hope Marvel addresses and is that they still have a villain problem. And Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, they took a good guy, an established good guy Avenger, turned them evil. Y'all said it was a twist. I'm like, no, I kind of saw that coming. I assumed that's what it was going to be because of how WandaVision was, where she was technically the villain, but turned good guy. I realized I did everything wrong, and I'm sorry. Let me fly away with my car and just, fix myself. And then with all this infusion of the Darkhold and everything, I was like, yeah, she's got to be the villain. If it's nobody else, it's got to be her. Shimagora, whatever else, fuck all that. It's going to be Wanda. 100% called it. And I was right. I'm sorry, I was right.
I was still pulling for Mephisto. I'm still on Mephisto. Let's get him in.
Well, for me, I made sure it was my best. I only saw that one trailer. And that one trailer, I ain't see shit. So I was kind of happy. Like I was happy I didn't see no other trailers because I was just assuming that Wanda was helping them out because like I saw like only like the teaser trailer and the first trailer. Now, like I said, the villain problem, I don't know. I guess for y'all, like I guess I'm different. I like the Jonathan the Majors episode. Well, for one, I'm glad to see more black people in a prominent role.
Right.
I ain't mad at it.
Despite them being the villain, but still.
Hey.
Killmonger was a great villain. You gonna bring that up? Killmonger was a great villain. That's one thing I wanted to say was like you have all this slate of villains coming up with movies. Doctor Doom, Magneto with the X-Men, Galactus with the Fantastic Four, and so much more. Like keep them villains, and I know Magneto's a little kind of iffy himself, but keep the villain characters, but just make them good and don't let them die in their first and only appearance. Like keep these villains around. Like
I think that's the problem too.
Yeah, like if you're reaching into the comics, they never 100% get rid of any of the major villains. Like, come on, bring them back. Like, it took, like, Spider-Man No Way Home introducing the Spider-Man villains into the MCU and Willem Dafoe giving that, like, stunning, amazing performance for me to like more MCU villains. And they had to take that from the Sonyverse. Outside of that, it was just Killmonger, to be honest. That's been the best villain.
What?
You could say Loki, but they turned him into a good guy, and that doesn't count.
Well, let's be real about Wanda. Even in the comics, Wanda a homie hopper. She always jumping across the fence. So
homie hopper.
Hey man, that's what she is. One day,
you got a point. You got a point.
Like one day she like, I want to make my daddy proud. Next day, I want to fight with Captain America. Like she stayed doing that. So, but my thing about the villain problem, I just think like I feel like the string of villains that we could get in the future, I feel like they can fix their villain problem because for one thing, Kang, he exudes black Air Force energy. He legit will go to your universe. He will go to your universe and say, "Who is the strongest person in this universe?" So raise your hand up. I'm gonna fuck you up, and then I'm gonna conquer this universe. And then he does that to multiple universes. This man. So that's a good villain. Dr. Doom, he legit just says, all of y'all are cockroaches. And I'm about to step on all of you. Galactus, he eats planets. So that's all I gotta say. Then you got the Celestials who were dicks. So they can have like the thing I like more about DC than Marvel. They got a lot more villains. Ain't no redeeming qualities about them. They just fucking hate. They fucking hate life and want to end it. Like that's why I like Darkseid. Darkseid, he's smug, cocky, and he says, "Look, I'm a guy, you not. So I'm about to beat your ass, and you're gonna worship me."
I get that, but I kind of like having my villains have a little redemption in them. I think that's what made Killmonger such a dynamic and good character. You could easily see his viewpoint. Like it's a gray subject matter type of thing. Nothing
until what if.
Well, okay, well.
Oh yeah, that's true. Whatever. I think if it's done right, yeah, because I mean, Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think Killmonger was like the only one that was done correctly, really, because they tried with Thanos, but his theory made no sense. Like
It did.
his whole motive was like, what? Like,
well, look,
no sense.
Like
You know,
even now they're trying to go back and retrofit that, like with the Thanos was right graffiti everywhere and everything that they do and stuff.
Look,
all Thanos was saying is there's too many of you motherfuckers, and half of you gotta go. Half of you gotta go.
Simple solution.
Stop
Not
fucking.
doubling the resources. That's too greedy.
Just stop fucking. There's too many of you.
And
Cut it
that
out.
makes sense. That makes sense. But they tried to make them all philosophical and a reason behind killing people.
That was it. You just needed half the world, half the universe to go, so we could have enough for everybody else. But and I love that there's no ramifications. The fact that it wasn't just people; everything that was living was half gone.
Yeah.
Right.
It just animals, insects. You know how many ecosystems you just fucked up?
well, look, I'm gonna just put this. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I preferred this philosophical Thanos than what they could have did was in the comics where he legit just wants to fuck death. He just wants to stick his dick in death.
Yeah.
I'm glad they changed that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though that would have been
That was not going to play on Disney Plus.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so I see why they had to go that route. But like I said, I don't know. I'm
Disney
with
Plus After Dark.
look, I'm with the whole redeemable character, but sometimes a villain just got a villain. A villain just got to fuck shit up. Like that's why I like DC villains, because they bout the smoke. Marvel villains, they bout the smoke until they bored and they say, I'm gonna go good. Nah, Darkseid boy says, I'm bored. I done killed everybody.
DC villains, a lot of DC villains have some redeeming qualities, or their motivations are not just bent on, like, look at a Mr. Freeze, right? Like a lot of characters are like that. They're like, they don't want to fuck anything up. I just need to do all this bullshit because I want to save my wife. You know what I mean? So a lot of them are more sympathetic. They're very sympathetic villains. They're done that way. But then you're right. You got some dark sides who just want to fuck shit up.
Yeah, I like a villain. I like a villain that's like, I'm bored. I done killed everybody. Damn, I'm bored. What can I do? I'm gonna kill some more people. I like that. Like to be honest, I thought I was the only one in my theater that laughed in Infinity War when Thanos at the very end, he sat down, he was tired, like, whew, that's what we meant to kill them motherfuckers, didn't it? But everybody was in the theater crying. I was laughing my ass off.
Right. I'll say this because we brought this up in the Big Mega Geek podcast Saturday. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'm sure it's up on Bring the Popcorn podcast on Facebook. You can go. It's a 4-hour podcast. We had a blast. But you brought up something with Infinity War when we was giving our top 10 MCU movies. And I like seeing the villain just win. Like none of these, why does every movie have to end with the good guy succeeding? Thanos is such a big bad. He needs to have his movie where he fucks some shit up, and we have to sit there and have that resonate with us for a minute. And that's why Infinity War is my favorite over Endgame, because the villain at the end of the day, even at the end of Endgame, technically Thanos still won. They had to go back in time and fix shit, and still quite didn't get it right.
and what was so funny about that, the reason why I like Thanos better than Infinity War, because it was like the things that he did was dick moves, but I was laughing my ass off. Like everybody was crying. Like when Vision died, he said, "Oh, you poor baby." So we're gonna rewind time. I'm gonna take that stone back again.
Right.
I thought that was funny. Then Thor dumbass, like hit him in the chest, like, damn, nigga, you should went for the head.
Going back to, I think, Marcel, you said that like with Doctor Strange, the powers can get like a little redundant, and Mark, you might have touched on it too, where we know if you look at Infinity War, Doctor Strange could have ended that so easily.
Right.
Just a little sling ring around his arm and then close it and cut the arm off. He's got no glove. We don't sit there trying to tug at it like it's a tug of war contest. Just, Ant-Man go in the ear and explode. I mean, it's just way after way they could have end this quickly.
They did that on Hizzy, and how it should have ended with the Infinity War. You're exactly right.
I'm not a superhero. I figured this out. Why didn't you figure this out?
Well, because Marco Disney want to fuck us out of our money,
and they do it good. I grabbed both ankles multiple times.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and I said, "Thank you, damn it." So if you don't thank the rat's gonna come for you. Okay.
You got a point. I paid for 2 Doctor Strange tickets, and I played for Disney Plus, and they got their money's worth out of me this week. Both ends.
I paid. My wife's sleeping. I paid for 3, but I went by myself. I don't want no motherfucker on my right, and I want no motherfucker on my left.
I understand.
My coat's going over here, and my popcorn's going over here. Get away from me. You fight nobody with the goddamn elbows on my chair.
But also, I think reason why I like the movie more than I probably think I should, probably because my crowd was fun. My first time seeing it, my crowd wasn't fun. So the first time I'm like, I don't know if I like this. But then I saw with the better crowd, like, I like this. So I think something, one thing about these Marvel movies, a crowd can make a difference. A crowd can definitely make a difference. Because I ain't gonna lie, I don't think I would have been as pumped for Endgame if my crowd was dead. Because for one, that's 3 hours. That's 3 long hours.
There's no way that many people would have went and saw that movie and just not did anything at any point during that movie.
No, but I'm just saying. If that, like, I just feel like if I was in the theater, not with not many people, it wouldn't have been as fun as it was when I went the first time. But like, yeah, the crowd made the movie for me. One because the little crime kid behind me and the screaming black lady back.
Well, at least you have those kind of experiences. My in-game experiences was not good. And even Spider-Man No Way Home, it wasn't good. Oh my god.
Oh damn!
I gotta find a better movie theater. I gotta stop going to Southland.
I do. I like filmmaking, but I have to be honest with you. I'm becoming that guy. I just want to watch it at home. Like, please, just leave me
too.
Movie theaters, they're okay when they are, but man, people are just they don't care. People are rude. They mess up the experience.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess I'll be getting lucky. Maybe it's an Atlanta thing. I'll be getting lucky.
Maybe I agree. I agree. People can be really rude between their cell phones and they're talking and
right.
Oh, I tend to go by myself because I've gone. Jason, I talked to you about this. I've gone with people before, and I want to kill them. Motherfucker, I took you to this movie. Shut up.
Right.
Now,
I didn't get here before you. I don't know what the hell's going on either. Watch the movie and shut up.
Okay, I take that back. I did have one bad experience when I first started the podcast. I want to go see 007, and that movie was already long as hell, and a little Indian man sat beside me with his shoes off, so I had to smell his funky ass feet for almost 3 hours.
Oh my god.
I think that's why I didn't give the movie a high rating, because this man's this man's feet smells so bad. I can't enjoy this movie. I feel like even Daniel Craig looked at him like, "Put your shoes back on, man."
That's crazy. But all right, man, this has been a long podcast. I want to just go ahead and end it. Let's go ahead and just give some of our final ratings. I don't usually do ratings, but just whatever rating you got for this movie, let's hear it. What are your final thoughts and opinions? Marco.
Out of 10, I'd probably go with a 7. Like I said, it had some misses for me. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward. I won't go back to the theater to see it and spend the money, but I will obviously watch it when it comes to streaming. And I want to catch, a lot of the stuff that, because like you said, it moves really fast. So I want to see a lot of the stuff that I missed. I'll pause the multiverse scenes just to see, all the different things that we might have missed on them. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited for the future stuff coming out. Like you said, I'm looking forward, because of this movie, I'm looking forward to Thor. I'm looking forward to the other stuff. I don't really care what Clea does and what he does with her, but I'm looking forward to the other stuff.
Right. What about you, Marcel?
Personally, I give it I'm a little harsh of a critic, because when you have all the money in the world, you have the best writers in the world, you should be able to make the best stuff. So personally, I give it like a 6 out of 10, a D plus, 6 out of 10, D plus, maybe, or D. I mean, I don't even know if it's passable. It was an experience. And don't get me wrong, I had a few good times, but the ball was dropped so hard that I can't, it's a little inexcusable for me personally. Like personally, this is me. It's no, like, hey, if you enjoy the movie, I understand. But, and again, on a personal level, I expected so much. I really, really like Sam Raimi, and I like his style, man. But unfortunately, he didn't really add much to the movie for me. 6 out of 10, D plus.
Okay. All right, Jason.
Well, when I first rated the movie, I gave it an 8, but I'm gonna drop it down to a 7.5. If we were on my show, it'd be like a low buttery. Reason why? First of all, the movie's too fast paced. It's just too fast paced. The story, there basically is no story. It's just Wanda want her imaginary kids get taken back from imaginary CPS
that she had for 5 minutes.
Right.
You have these fictitious kids. You gave birth to them in a day and a half. You had them for 3 days and they were gone. Get a grip and get over it.
Right.
I've taken poops that take longer than that.
And then I like my favorite scenes was the horror aspects.
Mm-hmm.
I love Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch, even though her accent still drops on and off all throughout the whole movie, and she is hamming that shit up in so many.
Commit to the accent.
I think I like that. It added to the craziness of her portrayal of the character in this.
Like so much cheesy dialogue. The Illuminati shouldn't have been there, but I'm glad they were there because I've been waiting to see them get fucked up for a while. Now, my problems with this movie is, like I said, technical wise, the cinematography, when they first get to that world, it looked like it's like a high budget. It shot like a high budget TV show. It just did not look right. And then like when they got back, I guess it was just the cinematography for that world. I like the Bruce Campbell cameo. Now them camera angles and transitions, that I hated those. I could have went without those. I like imposing layers on layers of images like that. This is stupid. Like, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but this is hurting my eyes.
Yes.
I liked it.
And they're just totally messing with people they know went to the theater fucked up. It's like, we're gonna play with them. Yeah, if you go fucked up, we're gonna make you pay for it.
Right.
And, like the CGI fell off, and like when there was nothing but fucking creatures on the screen. But other than that, like I said, this is an enjoyable experience. If you liked it more than me, I hope that you do, because there's a lot to love in this movie, but also there's a lot of things that to not like in this movie. It's not perfect by any means, but it is a fun blockbuster.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna keep my rating the same. Even though I haven't publicly said it, I'm gonna still keep it at an 8. Not because the movie itself was good, but because it was an enjoyable experience. It was like, it left you wanting to see what Marvel has coming next with Thor: Love and Thunder and the Marvels, and whatever they got coming up next in the Disney Plus series and everything that they have planned for Phase 4 and Phase 5. It definitely has its faults, but I'm gonna Disney my hand over it and wave over some of those faults because I want to see the bigger picture. I know this was just hey, we need to welcome you back to the movies because one, Disney didn't really hit out of the park with the Eternals, which was, I think, their last big release. It was not that great as far as in the MCU. And two, with all the pandemic shit going on and how we're tired of being stuck at home. And even though I like watching stuff at home now, I'd like to see a movie at the theaters because that's what the theaters was meant. Movies were meant to be seen in theaters, even if they're crappy theaters. So I'm gonna still give it an 8. I love what they did with Wanda. If WandaVision season 1 was about her getting over Vision, this was about her getting over her kids. So hopefully we have a more sane, more ready to go at her prime Scarlet Witch on her next rendition whenever she comes back, because we know she's coming back. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I know it has its, like I said, it has its faults. I can't keep bringing that up, but you got to excuse the faults. Nothing's perfect. Nothing is perfect. Just enjoy it for what it is.
And that's the way it should be, right?
Yes,
that's the way movies should be. You might not have enjoyed it, but if you enjoyed it, enjoy it, right? Don't let somebody else talk you out of enjoying the movie.
Oh, definitely.
Except for Batman: Dark Knight Rises, nobody should like that trash. Okay, it's a big bucket of shit. Okay, but other than that, enjoy a movie. If you like it, you like it.
Also, can somebody give Wanda a hug? She needs it.
She really needs a hug. Someone needs to give her a hug.
Look, before we go off the air, I've been saying this. The Avengers are not shit, because instead of getting this woman the help she needed, Captain America said, "You know what? It'd be better if she come be an Avenger." I mean, yeah, I mean she killed people, but she can be an Avenger. And then she blew up a whole damn building, because that's on. I love Captain America, but that's on Cap.
Yeah,
that's on Cap.
Yeah,
she wasn't mentally ready for that.
Yeah, she was.
That's funny. Actually, I had a better time watching Sonic 2. I just thought about it. Sonic 2 I had a better time watching that. Oh, that's random. I just thought.
I haven't seen it yet, but
that's
I just
fan service done well. I feel like over this.
I don't know. Like I said, maybe because I saw the first multiverse movie that came out this year, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I just felt like it was, even though so much crazy shit was going on, the story still had a cohesive, like a coherent story.
You were like the 10th person to say that's been the most perfect rendition of the multiverse, and I haven't gone to go see it, but it's on my list. So don't spoil that for me. I definitely want to go see that.
I'm not spoiling. I'm just saying the way they use their multiverse is creative. The way they use the multiverse here is like it's like I ask for Coke and they give me Diet Coke, but I drink it anyway because I'm thirsty. So, so like that's just how I felt, because the crazy shit I seen it. Well, one thing is A24, they make crazy shit, but the crazy shit that they did in their multiverse, I was expecting that I would see crazy shit in this multiverse, but no, I get 1 second of, maybe 5 seconds of them in a paint world, and then in a weirdly drawn animated world. That ain't madness. That's just that's some bullshit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tack that down another 5 points, because y'all lied with that title.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Well, again, I feel like they knew this movie was going to be about Wanda. She's a mom. They're going to release it on Mother's Day. Let's just call it Multiverse of Madness and have that trippy effect on everything. Because even Benedict Cumberbatch was on SNL last night for their Mother's Day, this past Saturday for the Mother's Day's episode. So they really wanted to milk that mom aspect of it being more about Wanda than anything else. But anyway, why don't everybody reintroduce yourself and tell everybody where you can be found on the internet? We can start with you, Marco.
So I am host of the Entertainment Rants podcast. You can find us on all podcasting platforms, or on our social media is at Entertainment Rants, and online it's at entertainmentrants.com. And hopefully I'll be able to get all you guys out. Jason, you've been on my show, but I want to get you other guys on the show at some point as well.
Definitely. I'll be happy to be on. What about you, Marcel? Where can everybody else find you at?
People can find me at Marcel S. Williams on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, man, but I like I say, it's called The Content Bebop. But I still have to figure out what to do. I know it's gonna be camera or content related. I just gotta figure out what to do with it, man. I don't know yet.
Just a piece of advice: release what you got. I know you busy doing other stuff. Just release what you got, and it's gonna figure itself out as your channel grow.
No, you're totally right. I'm too much of a perfectionist, so I gotta get it perfect. But you're right. Make it and just put it out. Figure it out as you go.
Yeah. You see my channel is not perfect. My last video looks like garbage, but hey, I still put it out there.
Just put it out.
I just put it out there. This is embarrassing, but if you haven't seen my last, you know what? Go ahead, Jason. I'll do my spiel last.
Well, y'all, I have my own podcast called Bring the Popcorn Podcast, and I'm on Facebook. I'm up under Jason Craig, and I'm on Instagram under Bring the Popcorn. But also, check us out. We do reviews, and we do reviews. We do good retro reviews, bad movie reviews, current movie reviews. I have interview series in this week for the release of Firestarter. We're going to also be reviewing a bad Stephen King movie. So check us out. That's going to be fun.
Okay, cool. So again, if you haven't seen my latest blurography video, I finally released my first vlog that I ever recorded outside of my house at Ranger Stop and Pop 2021 last year. It's terrible. I shot it on my cell phone. The audio was kind of bad. I didn't even do any good shots, but go and watch it because I need views on my content. But Mark, this has been BLERDKAST. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. I've been on Marcel's show, I've been on Jason's show, and I'll be on Marco's show coming up soon. But you can find BLERDKAST everywhere that you can find podcasts, the important stuff anyway. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Audible now, Spotify, and Anchor. And you can find Blurography on YouTube and everywhere else on social media. Just follow Blurography, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I do a lot of nerdy content like this. I do podcasts, I do cosplay photo shoots and interviews, and I have a big announcement coming up soon as I can edit that video together. But this has been BLERDKAST. We've talked about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We definitely had a lot to say. So if you like this, please subscribe and like and leave a comment. Peace. Everybody out.